Hey, good morning to everyone. How's everybody doing today? It is, what's today? Monday? Oh, right, it's Monday.
Because it's Memorial Day.
It is, it's Memorial Day, and you are here. Uh-oh, somebody made an escape.
We had an escape. Come here, pal.
That's awesome. Awesome. So I hope everybody's doing good and that you've been having a good weekend so far. So TrickyBricks, PD Brick Film says, where can I get your sig fig? I collect them. You know, they have to be, I mean, you would kind of have to create your own, and unfortunately, apparently my sig fig to make is very expensive.
Well, it's the hairpiece, right?
It's the hairpiece that has a lot to do with it, yes. But if I swapped over to the hairpiece that Kevin used for our logo, actually, it might be a little bit easier. But we'll see. Let's see. So let's see who's here today.
Did TrickyBricks use the same hairpiece you do?
Yes, the Percival Graves,
Yep.
the Percival Graves one. So I was noticing, yes, I was just noticing over here that it was, we've got a lot of people, so just going to say hello.
All right.
Tornado is here, Insane Lego Fan, Shane Levin, Black Jack is here, Chris Barron, Steve Parmley. Hi, Steve.
Minifig Chick is here.
Minifig Chick is
Lisa
here.
Head.
Marilyn Parmley. And we missed your birthday yesterday, Marilyn.
Happy
I'm so
birthday.
sorry. Happy birthday to you. I'm sorry we didn't say so on the stream.
It looks like it was wonderful.
Let's see. We've got JMW Music is here. I think it's
Did you say PD Bricks?
PD Brick Films. Goodness. Brick Vibe. That's a new one. Hey, Red Warrior 6 is here. Christopher Chalice. Lego Maniac. Oh my goodness. Lego LA or Lego La Maniac. Lego LA Maniac.
Oh, maybe. We know them.
Yeah,
we know
the
some
Adventures
people
of, and I'm not going to try to pronounce that because I know I will screw it up, but hi. And Brother from Another Brick, hello, welcome. Johnny Cat is here, welcome.
Here.
So
Good morning, Johnny.
I'm just wondering if somebody could do me the favor again of checking out on Facebook. Actually, you know what? I think I can check on Facebook. What if I check on Facebook while you show your pin for the day?
Okay. Well, my pin for today, in honor of the sort of
We are on Facebook.
picnic barbecue side of Memorial Day, is the Florida orange bird, just chilling in the sunshine there.
Very nice. And then I've got, hey, MJ Bricks is here. Very nice to see you. So check it out. So I'm wearing the pirate ship under the pixie dust that flies away. So Captain Hook's ship, after it gets sprinkled with the pixie dust at the end of the movie, and then it flies away back to London.
That's so nice.
It is nice. It was one I was really happy to find this. I love any of the anything piratey, of course, and of course anything Peter Pan is a super bonus. So today, no one can pronounce your name even when you verbalize it for them. If you verbalize it for me, I could probably do it. I'm pretty good with it, but I just don't want to screw it up.
No, we try real hard.
Hey, Josh Gay is here. Welcome. How's it going?
Joshua.
And I'm so excited that we're now on Facebook. Oh, Tiffany Thompson is here.
Yay, Tiffany.
I've switched over now, and I can see chats from both Facebook and from.
Wow, it's just a bigger clubhouse today.
I know, really. It's super crazy.
Well, we should say hi to people on Facebook,
yeah,
too.
and I did. Tiffany Thompson, she's the one on Facebook right now. So hi, Tiffany. And thanks to you, yes, I love my Bowie Benny shirt. It's called Starman, and it's so good.
He's so happy.
Whenever I would wear it to teach classes, the parents always, like, the kids loved it because Benny, and then the parents were like, Bowie. Like, yes, that is a thing.
Mashup of worlds.
Yeah. So, Jake Sadovich is here. Wilfred, yes, we're on stereo chat, or as they call it in the TV biz, simulcasting. We're simulcasting live on Facebook and YouTube right now.
Which I'm not sure. I think that means click.
Well,
Didn't you say you had a lot of figuring stuff out, and then in the end the whole thing turns on with one click?
Pretty much one click. There's a few extra things I have to do on the front end, but other than that, wow, my hair is horrifying today.
By the way, Flynn gave me props the other day. I got to give him props. He programmed this entire show, and not only did he do that, he learned how to do it while he was doing it. All the while we're all having this adventure staying home. So hooray to Flynn for figuring out how to make all of this technology work so we can hang out with you.
Oh, well, thanks. I try.
And other people.
It mostly works. It mostly works. And, so brother from another brick says, how long have you all been married for? Almost 10 years. We'll be 10 years in July.
But we dated for a year and a half in 1990 or 91 when we were like
2 years, something
20s.
like that. And then of course, yeah. And then now here we are.
Yeah, it took us 20 years to find one another, but we did, and here we are building Lego with you, which is cool.
So Tiffany says, so yesterday on Facebook I couldn't minimize you and do other things, but today I can. I don't know if that's a setting of yours. Nothing that I did a setting on, but I don't know.
We try not to lock things down.
Hey, Kim, how's it going? You're spending time with your family today? Absolutely. If we had family nearby, we would probably be spending it with them as well.
Yep.
I mean, we have our friend families, absolutely, of course. But we are, we're being good and staying inside. So,
I can't stop playing with your mug.
I know.
Here. Hang on, I'm gonna break it.
No. All right. So, just a couple of things about today. We are going to. We'll talk about the mock later. We've got somebody waiting in the wings.
Did you just pacify me with a Fabuland?
I pacified you.
Castle top.
Well, it's not Fabuland. That's actually
Belleville.
Belleville. I did pacify you with a Belleville sparkly glitter. So now we're gonna have to share again. Our headphone situation is always a little bit dicey, but everybody, I would like you to now. Last week, you remember I showed you a video from Amy from Lego Masters. That's Crystal and Amy, not Brickmaster Amy. I showed you a video about Amy's scholarship for girls in STEM, and she's actually here to talk to us about that today. So everybody, please give a big TrickyBricks welcome to Amy.
Howdy.
Hi, Amy.
What is a TrickyBricks welcome?
That is just everybody in the chat being really excited that you're here, which will happen anyway, but I like to say the big, or you get a hi pals.
I miss y'all. I miss hugs and people. I didn't know you guys collected pins. I actually have Rufio pins from Hook that say Bangarang.
That's awesome.
For the costume that I made. I'll send them to you. I did not know that you guys were doing the pin thing.
Yeah, we do pins every day. It's one of our little features.
Yeah, our friend Minifig Chick and her partner got us into pin trading, and since we had them just sitting on a board and we were home every day, I thought, why not put one on?
Pin every day. I like that.
Sorry, I got to sneak you back in.
Yeah,
there we go. Things are being weird. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing.
Welcome to my life.
What technical things, technical issues?
It always looks so sci-fi behind you because of the blue glow on the wall.
Welcome to the future. So I know. I feel everyone that I talk to also gets like the home house tour, like from like MTV, where it's like everyone gets a tour of my house now.
Oh, yeah.
So, oh yeah, show us your mug.
Ooh.
That is adorable.
My Jabba.
Very cute. Well, that's if I'm not mistaken, isn't that like dead Jabba? Like, isn't that right after he's been strangled and his tongue's hanging out of his mouth?
Think about that. That's sad. I'll just make.
I'm sorry.
It'll be a right-handed mug now. So
no, we don't want to.
We want to see the other. We want to see the other side. But I really badly want to go just like draw X eyes.
He's great with his cute little eyes.
No, but I love him. It's adorable.
His nose is perfect.
That's super cute. All right, so talk to us about your amazing project that you're working on, the scholarship.
Oh, the scholarship?
Yeah.
So the national, I guess if anyone know, blah, 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 blah. If I can even talk. What time is it?
Everyone's taking a breath.
I'm brave. It's always the worst part when you have to like introduce yourself. I'm like, no one should ever have to introduce themselves.
No, everybody knows who you are.
I over-introduce myself.
That makes it better. But I mean, my background, my day walker job, as I call it, is I'm a software developer, so everything in tech. So I started this scholarship. This is the 3rd year now, so it's for girls in STEM, and STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And yeah, it's kind of weird. So originally when I started it, Indy says that it's also Logan cookie time.
Oh, well, not yet.
No. So funny. It's like,
he's ready.
He knows.
They figure it out fast.
Oh, I know, they're smart. They have us trained. Yeah, so when I started the scholarship, it was kind of interesting because I was like, oh. Says, no, pay attention to me.
He's helping out.
I know. No, he's not helping. He says, give me the watermelon.
Shin Levin says, Jabba the mug.
Jabba the mug.
Job with a mug.
Now it makes me want to get a dog that's a
Jabba
mutt
for
and call
Jabba.
it Jabba the Mutt.
I told you I have a friend who named their dog Gotham. So, like, if they have to get up in the middle of the night to let their dog out, he's like, I have to get up, honey. Gotham needs me.
We joked when we first got Logan, we were joking for a while that we were going to call him Dracula, so that when people said, what's your dog's name? Dracula. And then running through the park, Dracula, come back. Oh my goodness. Anyway, sorry. So back to your very important scholarship.
Yeah, you said it was the 3rd year you've done it.
This is the 3rd year, so I fully funded, and I put enough in there for 5 years, and it's grown like outside of just like what I put in there. People have donated, or I'll make like small little props and donate part of the proceeds to that. And it's weird because I didn't want my name to be in it because that was not why I was originally starting it. But I think that I can help it grow. It's kind of weird because when I was in college, primarily like a lot of my computer science classes were all male-dominated classes. And I used to actually like write code and contribute under a guy's name because my work was like taken very differently when they were like, oh, that's just some girls' work. And I saw that firsthand. So I'm like, if I can give back a little bit in hopes that like this could impact someone else enough to go to school, like. Yeah.
Well, you've also have a little more of a voice now because of Lego Masters. I mean, you did design and engineering on Lego Masters with Crystal.
Yeah, the motors and the gears, and that's something that like I love that idea of it. But I'm also kind of have learned a lot of people have opened my eyes to like this idea of STEAM, like also adding the arts in there, because. I don't consider myself a very artistic or a creative person without the use of technology. So I think of it like, I can't draw a straight line without the use of a computer. Like,
that's funny you say that. I think about that with lighting design, right? If I hit a creative block in lighting design, I can think my way around it with technology, and then the technology informs the design decisions and back and forth.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like sometimes like just stepping back for a second or combining both. So like I made these little I know, Indy, you're so excited. So I have a laser cutter, so I like made these little like cutouts.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to see in that. But then I had these boxes as upside down, and then you laser cut them, and then you can fill them with bricks.
Oh, that would be awesome!
Great.
So do like a design or an outline or something like that.
Yeah.
I told Jessica, I was like, Jessica, I made art. Are you proud of me?
Well, Amy, when I see that cutout in Lucite, I think of a room divider edge lit with LEDs made up of those like in tiles. Like I love the materials you're working with.
So I was doing that. That's actually really interesting. So this may be kind of hard to see. but I was testing with the laser. This is just, it's engraved on acrylic. So I just engraved this with a laser cutter. And when you add light to it, the way that light, it's so fascinating.
It's bright, amazing. Right? And it looks so sci-fi, and I mean, just images floating in air. I did a multimedia piece with this composer, Bob Ostertag, and we had a camera pointed at a piece of lucite that was edge-lit, and wherever the cameras saw fingerprints light up because you were touching it, it would play music and modulate the music. So it's just like using your fingers, the contact there as the light source.
Oh, and sorry, and I did just want to point out that Mark Crookshank is in the chat. Hooray. Mark is here with us today. Lego Master enters the chat. There's one for your bingo card, everybody. and a Lego Master on the screen. So there you go. It is. They're surrounding you in the chat on the screen.
Done.
But say, Amy, I also I can go down so many rabbit holes. I want to make sure you have a chance to say, like, how do people contact? Or what is contact information for this scholarship?
Yeah, so I have to find the exact web. You can go to the National Video Game Museum webpage, and if you want to apply, you can apply by June 1st, and you just have to be a U.S. resident. And if people want to donate, you can also donate. I know, like, all of it's managed through Fidelity Charitable. It's through a 501c3. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, what a great thing you're doing. I mean, did you have inspiration and encouragement into science as a young girl?
So my mom homeschooled us, so like I think I definitely had like the inspiration from that. And my dad was always really supportive. I think when I went into like my career, like I did my internship at Marvel Studios in the game department.
Oh, and so cool.
I was the very first female intern the games department ever had. I worked on the Thor and the Captain America game and the Superhero Squad show game, and I worked on a lot of the physics calculations for Thor's cape in the game.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
Wow. My name to fame, but also now Lego Masters. So, but it was my old boss, like actually like the last day that we were filming in December for the show, I went and got lunch with him, and he is the head honcho at Marvel Games still, and an amazing, credible human being. And I told him, I was like, if I didn't have the encouragement that I had like from him in the beginning, I don't think I would be where I was, because some people definitely in the tech industry don't have that. I used to say he created his like a unicorn army.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's so cool. I know you had touched on some of that during the women's panel discussion we had on Mother's Day, but what a good thing you're doing. And I just want to reiterate what a delight it was to see the girls with sparkles in their eyes and unicorns on their sweaters coming to see you and talking about the things that they had built because they had seen you in Crystal.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Like when we were all at Bricks Cascade, I think we were all just generally in shock. So Bricks Cascade was in Indy. Get me that watermelon. The worst. So that was in Portland. I guess that was in February.
Yeah.
And that's Mark and Boone's hometown. So of course, so it was hilarious. We were in line, and like these little kids would come up, and they were like, Amy and Crystal, you're our second favorite. We're like, oh, and they're like Mark and Boone, but that's their hometown.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We got that a lot too.
Well, people love the bearded builders.
Yeah. Well, how could they not?
Us too.
We love them.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's I'm very much usually like if I go to like tech conferences, I'm so used to adults, but to actually see like the little girls, you don't realize how much of an impact you have. Like I had a friend that said, those little girls probably never thought they would see someone like you on TV. I'm like, running around in costumes and fairy wings playing with Lego? Yeah, welcome to our life.
Well, I think that's great too, because, growing up when we grew up in the 80s, and I had, I always had like kooky colored hair and wore, crazy clothes and all that stuff, and just that wasn't something that you saw on TV. Like the closest that you saw to it on TV, I think, was this terrible show called Square Pegs, and it was like trying to like capitalize on the whole like new wave like punk scene thing, and it was like a high school, but it was clearly like written by people who had absolutely no idea what kids in the 80s were actually like. So it was really weird. So to be able to like now go on a show and see somebody like you or Crystal or Sam or just people who are just like, and this is here's me, this is what I'm wearing, this is what my hair is like, this is what I do every day. No, I'm not just doing it for the show. So it's normalized now, I think, which is great.
Best parts, like somebody like asked, like they're like, oh man, some of the lines they gave you for that show was terrible. I'm like, well, it was reality TV, so it's unscripted, so we're just that weird.
Well, I think it breaks down it breaks down fashion stereotypes too, right? Like people assume if you dress a certain way that you are a certain way all of the time, and you guys cut across that.
Yeah.
So, and also like, Flynn, you have tattoos, so it used to be like, oh, where did you get those? And I used to joke, be like, prison. Be like, I'm like, I've never even smoked a cigarette in my life, people. But there is some stereotypes and assumptions, and
oh yes,
like I know that a lot of people, I guess if you want to say like, oh, how can we separate, or bridge the gap in tech for like women and stuff? And I'm like, you could just treat everyone like a human being instead of like, saying girls in tech and this and this. Like, okay, we're humans. Like, I think that's probably one of the best parts about like that I miss about traveling around the world is like you can not even speak the same language, but if you have something in common with them, like you're automatically connected.
Right.
Well, that's why I always love touring for art, is that people invited you there to do what it is you love doing, and they're doing that too, so you automatically have this like more than where's a sandwich connection with them.
It's like this positive, intoxicating like encouragement to be around. It's so motivating.
I had this idea. I'm gonna go and pour us coffee here in a moment. I think it will. I need everyone.
Building. I see the Ninjago City behind you too.
Oh
yes. What? So are you asking what we're building right now?
Yes.
Oh well, right now. So we build lots of sets on the show, and I think the next.
Excuse me a moment.
The next one we're gonna do is the Creator 3-in-1 Corner Deli. But I also, I heard that my haunted house, the new haunted house kit, is supposed to be arriving on Wednesday, maybe earlier.
The gears on that thing, like it is so, the thing sold out right away even for VIP, right? So.
Yep. I was really lucky. I got up at like 6 a.m. Like I got in there 15 minutes after it started, and I got mine. And it's supposed to be here like any time. I don't know why it's taking so long to get here. I've seen people already having theirs. I'm like, no. But so I'm hoping it'll show up. I'm hoping it'll show up early so that actually when we come back on Wednesday, because we're not here on Tuesdays, that we'll be able to start that.
So you'll get to see the like. If they're using like, because they have some of like the moving stuff, so it didn't come with any like power up or boost or anything like that, right?
Yeah, no, it didn't. You have to buy that separately, but we have all that stuff, so I feel pretty good about that. Yeah.
Look, also I made this with a little.
Oh, that is so great.
But this was like one of the little like I don't know. I got it. I'm trying to think. Crystal and I bought it like last year.
Oh, it was like the Lego store thing?
Perfect. And like, how funny is it that the light, this part is just like the lights we had on set?
Yes, exactly right.
I was like,
that's great. That's wonderful. Hey, so I'm being reminded by one of our thoughtful mods that it is sticker set show and tell time. And I know I didn't warn you, but if you have stickers, you can show them. But we'll start off with ours, so that way you can look. And if you don't, it's okay. I should have warned you. I apologize. It was a little bit. This morning was a little rough. Just letting everybody know. It was a little rough. The whole past couple days has been a little rough, but...
Well, today's about barbecued ribs and hanging out.
Well, it's also, let's be real, too.
I mean, that's not what the holiday's about. Obviously, it's a much more serious holiday than that.
Yeah, it's about honoring our fallen soldiers.
Yeah.
And yes, and we appreciate what they do.
And we think about that, and I'm going to call my dad, too, today.
Okay, are we ready for this?
And also, we're going to have barbecued ribs.
and we're going to have barbecued ribs and macaroni and cheese by ourselves at our house.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to swap over real quick to the to just our cam, and then and Amy, I'll come back to you in just a second.
I found some.
Oh, cool.
Awesome. So here's ours.
Okay, this is from set 41230, Batgirl Batjet Chase. And it's from the DC Superhero Girl set. It had 206 pieces, and she flew around in a jet, Batgirl jet, and cast nets on mechanical devices.
Well, I love that yellow, the one in the lower corner, the round one with the spiral and the bats coming out of it.
The bats coming out, yeah. And I love the big bat signal sort of shapes.
And I just this is going to show you how rough it was this morning. Richard just went and opened the box and pulled the stickers out because we couldn't find our bag of
We couldn't
stickers.
find our sticker collection. So we're gonna build this very soon, maybe on a stream where we do more than one set. Oh yeah,
very good.
I was dragging
that one on. Why don't you put it in Daddy Air? Then we'll be at least close to each other.
How about that? Oh,
You're sharing that. It's like being on the plane. You're like, I gotta share this.
Exactly.
We're out in whip, and you're like attached.
Okay, Amy, what have you got for us today?
Right, because you didn't tell me, but I have this. It was from the passport. You know what I'm talking about?
No. What is that?
Oh, so when you get the Lego passport book, so when you go to all the Lego stores, you get them stamped. Yeah. I guess this is like part of it, so you can like decorate your. I don't even know if it's actually an official thing.
Well, it must be, or else those pieces wouldn't be on there.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's so cute.
That's so cool.
That's pretty amazing.
And are those like beanie caps with a brick pattern on them down in the corner?
Oh yeah, like a little baseball cap.
Yeah, with a little brick. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a brim, I think.
Oh yeah, you can see it in black.
Very nice.
Cool.
That's when you need. There needs to be like a filter, like a social media filter with just like the Lego hair that you can just put on.
I'm surprised they haven't done that already. Honestly. That's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Nice. I love ephemera, like even there's so much cool art in the instructions. I think we don't think about instructions that much after the set's together, but there's a lot of cool graphics in it. We were looking at that the other day.
I was looking at some of my old sets, and like one of them was like the old Harry Potter, and the set probably only had like 200 pieces. And the manual was so thick, and then like literally one page was like one thing at a time, and then now it's like literally like a one-page sheet that's like a fold up, like in the poly bags or something.
Yeah. Oh, Christopher Chalice says, I'm going to send you guys sticker sheet from the opening of Leicester Square shop. Is that okay? Of course, absolutely. Yes, please do.
We love mail. Since I was a kid, and I used to get stuff from the Johnson Smith catalog, we would get science stuff or like kooky X-ray specs and, well, I never got X-ray specs. I think I got a spooky skeleton.
We knew the trick Johnson about Smith. The X-ray specs, right?
No.
So they would show like in the comic books, you would see it, and they would have a person with the glasses on, and they were looking at their hand, and then like their hand looked like a skeleton hand because they were seeing through it. And apparently, when you got the glasses, it just had little filter. It had like two little black circles with a skeleton hand like printed on it, so that when you looked through it, you just saw a skeleton hand. It didn't matter where you looked,
so
there was always a skeleton hand. It's so silly.
And they called them X-ray hands.
You got X-ray specs. Yeah, they were the very, very popular. That and the ones where you could get like they were like 1,000 cowboys for $1, and we were expecting like army men type figures, and then when you got them, they were like flat. They were just like the what?
like those little flat cardboard things. They just like stick.
Well, it was plastic, but they were just flat, like a game token, like a board game token.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
So much of that stuff in the back of comic books, though, or Mad Magazine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the comics because there's like ads for Lego stuff from like '79.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Build a car, and it's like this little Technic car, and it's just like, how times have changed.
Yeah. They're like, build a car, and it's like 6 pieces with like, really crummy wheels on it. And it's like, wow.
Did it have? I should see what wheels it had. I don't remember. I sent Megan because I know they were doing some of the research for like how ads were for Lego and how like the targeting history of that.
Oh yeah.
I sent her some of those pictures.
Oh, Steve Parmley says sea monkeys. Yes, sea monkeys. There was another thing you could order in the back, and they were actually brine shrimp, but like the drawings of them were like these crazy like undersea creatures with like crowns that like kind of grew out of their head, and they were like a whole family. And you were like, oh, there's gonna be like little weird human amphibian things that they were brine shrimp.
Before the internet, where people could like actually post reviews.
Exactly, right. And ant farms. That was also really popular.
We got an ant farm, and I don't know whether they sent us these two initially or we got like refill ants, but somehow we ended up with half black ants and half red ants in the ant farm, and it was a scene.
Oh my goodness. That was like a whole...
That was an early childhood lesson.
Wow, yeah, don't put the two different kinds of ants together in the scene.
They both wanted the ant farm for themselves.
It was a disaster of epic proportions, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, in my little, like, I would watch up close.
It was a battle. Didn't they make a movie about that?
Oh,
I bet Pixar.
Well, there was a movie called. Are you talking about the ants in specific? Yeah, there was a movie in the '70s, a TV movie. There was in the '70s there was a big rage. So now you know how recently they were talking about the murder hornets. Well, like back in the '70s, there were like killer bees was a thing, like for reals. And then there came like a whole raft of horror movies that were all like bug infestation.
The Swarm was
the
one.
Swarm, and so all that. I actually read a really interesting book once where this guy showed like the history of horror film in comparison to like what was going on in society at that particular time. And so all of those horror movies, in general, are always answers to like whatever the big fear is. So of course,
like 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, and then like in the '50s, Godzilla came entirely out of the whole nuclear everything. So that was
what scares people at any given time.
10 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. Like in another couple of years, we'll see like the resurgence of the movie Contagion, and then there'll be like 5 million copycat ones, and it'll be a whole thing.
Okay, we don't go there much on this stream, but I gotta say that one of the most sci-fi things for me over the last several months has been wearing sunglasses outside with a mask on, because it fogs up the sunglasses, and it's like being in a video game or something where like the HUD starts having stuff on the front of it.
Oh my goodness! Well, but we usually steer clear of those topics, but you got to touch on them. It's real life, right?
It's true.
So anyway,
well, what are you building?
Yeah, what are you building right now?
So I've been. If Mark is here, he'll be proud. I've actually like trying to like work on like some different techniques to build like, I guess like flat tile pieces to make like little.
Oh, nice!
I'm just trying.
I love those.
It's like. Not typically but I love the paint trans pieces. Like those are some of my favorite.
Yeah, especially if you can get them with glitter in them.
Well, what you're doing there with slopes out of a flat surface is really interesting.
So I was trying to make, how Aaron and Christian, they made the little like for the toy box with like one of our each little. When was that? Episode 6 or 7? I don't even know. You know what I'm talking about? They made the tiny little builds of all of our builds.
Oh yeah, that
would be episode 7.
That would be episode 7. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, that was so cool. They made little homage, like a tiny little Legor, and they made the Clockman, I think.
Oh, Legor.
I put together the Tokyo set.
Oh.
I love like the little, like these tiny little like micro scale. So I'm like, okay, that would be something like neat to do. Also, this is a great use of
those little flexible axle tubes.
Yes, like I don't know.
Wow. And then what are those little gray tiles with the printing? Are those solar panels?
Yeah, those are the solar panels.
Or the tile.
I think they're dark blue, actually, aren't they?
Right here?
No, on the other side down low next to the yellow building.
Oh,
yeah,
these are
blue and silver.
Yeah, the blue and silver.
Yeah, solar panels.
Or solar, I guess.
I think
I
that's
have
great.
Tokyo. It is on my list.
Hey, can you show us the attachment method for your flexi axles on the back of that pointy tower?
Oh, okay. That once again, that round piece that we like that has the bars all the way around.
Yeah. So do you see? So you have some support structure.
And then is that octagon that has the axle hole in the middle of it? Is what you're clipping on?
Yep.
Yep. It's the axle, not the. God, what's the one that's like just has a circle through it? I use them for like the gears a lot.
Yeah, right. The flat tile with a hole in the middle.
Yeah, so that. Let's see.
Oh, I see. Right.
So yeah, actually for like the Technic piece.
Oh, that. Okay. Yes. Yes.
That is such an unassuming little piece and so helpful because it's so low profile to get an axle engaged with something.
But what's great is if you use the axle and then you use one that doesn't have the pin through, this can be used as like a spinning piece.
Yep.
Like that was.
I just learned, I don't know why I didn't know this before, but I just learned that round, that 4x4 round that you put up there works on a rotator. I thought it always had to be the brick thick ones, but no, it works just great.
Yeah.
Like on the large size rotator base. It's got like that little ratcheted bit all around the outside's black usually, and it'll fit right on there. Because they use that in the Powerpuff Girls set for the little merry-go-round.
That's how I saw it.
Merry-go-round thing.
Yeah, the turntable, that's what somebody told me. The giant turntable, like the disco
the disco turntable, yes.
But it doesn't move smooth. It's like a locked one. Like it's
it's ratcheted. Like they have click.
But they have both kinds, I think.
Okay, I'm trying to think of the last one I put one of those together with that set. It's the one where it's gray and it's got the black, like, and it's... What's the last set? What sets have that?
I can't remember now. We use those a lot, though.
What, those big rotators?
Yeah, like I did, like in when we did Treasure of the Snake Queen, we had a tower that I really wanted, like, I didn't want it facing straight forward. I wanted it at an angle, and so we used one of those and, like, clicked it into, into place.
Yeah, we angle buildings a lot that way.
But, Wild Orson is asking, what's your favorite architecture set? Do you have a favorite architecture set? Whether it's one you own or not, I would say, like, just even one that you just really want.
Man. I guess I always forget, but I'm always like the one I just put together is the one I like think about like right. It's like when somebody asks you, it's like, what's the last book you read? And you're like, oh, and you just say like you don't even remember half.
Well, I would say I know that I would love to put together the Frank Lloyd Wright house.
That's the one, Falling Water?
Yeah, the Falling Water. I would really love to do that one.
We've never talked about that, and that's exactly the one I had in my head.
So I mean, I've heard the Taj Mahal one, if you can get a hold of that too, is like
Oh, that's one of those. You mean the really big one? Right? Yeah. That thing is crazy. Although I think that's not technically a architecture set. I think that's a creator expert set.
Is it?
I think so. I'm not sure.
When Flynn gave me Berlin, I lived there for 14 months, something like that. Mm-hmm. I love that city. And he gave me that one that I have next to my desk at work. I love that one.
Yeah. Oh, and the Guggenheim one is really good too. People are talking about that.
Falling Water is so beautiful, and Lego lends itself to rectangular, boxy architecture, right? Like pretty easily, you can make a rectilinear structure that's asymmetrical and all that by just, stacking boxes in different ways.
So Drew says that he was led to understand that we would be enlightened about cams. You will be enlightened about cams.
There will be. See?
We are going to talk about cams. So I think actually what we're going to do is let's go ahead and have Logan cookie time now, and Indy can have Indy cookie time, and then we'll start talking about cams. And Amy, I know you mentioned you didn't have a long time, but you are welcome to stay for the cam talk, or you if you have to go, that's totally okay too.
I will get Indy's watermelon cookie.
Okay. All right, everybody. It's gonna be that time.
Out of the way.
Yes, coffee definitely out of the way. And then we are gonna talk about cams. Look, I even made a little thing to show all about cams.
Oh.
Oh wow, very nice.
This here.
Oops. Okay, let's go.
My favorite part is
what's
that
the paper?
like picnic table.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do the little opening animation, and then we'll be back. Here we go.
Indy, come back here. Go for it.
And there he
Look who it
is. Hooray, Logan. And yay, Indy.
Hey, where'd you go?
Double cookie time is always the best cookie time.
Okay, can you catch it? Look at that. Okay, it's a new thing on cookie
Dog
time.
is eating
Oh,
watermelon.
you missed it. Okay, it's
He's
okay.
like-
Logan,
He looks like my Java mug.
Oh my goodness.
Can you catch it? Oh, it's a new trick for him.
Wow, this is like a whole thing.
And
Yay.
I'm like, why does he know? He has
Good boy.
hey, he's been quiet all morning, and then he's like, he hears your voice. He's like, that voice means watermelon. All right, I will let y'all get to y'all's cams. It was amazing to see you.
Oh, it was great to see you
Amy,
too,
it
Amy.
was so
Thank you
great
so much for coming and talking to us about killer ants and sea monkeys and and all sorts of ridiculous things, and most importantly your work with girls in STEM and your scholarship. So can you tell everybody one more time where they can go to check it out?
Yeah, you can apply at the National Video Game Museum webpage, or if you actually want to donate, you can donate directly to the museum or to the scholarship fund. I guess you could reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram. It's under AmieDD or AmieDD, AmieDD.com, and we can
just
go.
like you see under her picture, but just without the space. Right? Yep. Very good.
Thanks for sharing your art too. I love what you did with the white structure with the slopes coming out. I may play around with that idea too.
With the trans pieces just like a little bit thrown in there. Yeah.
Yeah, all the texture and brings so much light into it.
Back to like building and as a relaxing thing.
Yes. Yes.
On the show where it's like traumatized by like the countdown clock still to this day.
Yeah, I still get that when we're building here on the show. I'm just like, oh god, we gotta get it finished like before the time is up. But yes. Well, Amy, thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us. We miss you so much and we love you so much.
Virtual hugs.
I know, virtual hugs. We can't wait to see you again really soon to have real ones. So hopefully that will be in not too long.
You'll have an amazing day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Amy. Wow, awesome. Oh, we can take this out now. That was super fun. I always love being able to have guests on, and being able to have Amy on is just awesome. She's always such a fun guest, and she's she's always got fun stuff to talk about technology and all that good stuff.
She showed so much stuff too. Those lucite minifigure shapes.
That was
really
so cool. That was so cool. All right, so
no headphones.
We are talking about cams today. Hey, TrickyBricks, how's it going? We are talking about cams today. So I know that first of all, let's have a little bit of honesty time. Let's have some honesty time, shall we?
Let's Flynn, be honest.
It was a bit of a trying weekend. Yesterday, I was pretty sick for a better part of the day. After we went out for a walk.
Not desperately so, but we got overheated,
masks
hard
on.
to breathe and all that.
It was almost 80 degrees here, and I wasn't doing so good. And then we sort of had the wrap-up of our D&D game, And
the wrap up of 20 episodes.
Yeah, 20. Almost the wrap up. We're almost there. To 20th. So there was a lot going on yesterday. Plus, I wasn't feeling well. And by the time we were done with yesterday, it was 8:30 at night, and I sat down to work on our fairy tale thing, and I was just like, you know what? I don't have the energy. I just don't have the energy. And Richard didn't either.
Well, we both decided that along the lines of what Amy was just saying, like not building on a countdown clock, we just want to chill. And I'm so grateful for everyone who did get their things in on time.
Yeah. So thank you. And also, I felt like we also felt like we wanted to be able to catch up. Like, now I want to be able to work on the mosaic, and I can't work on the mosaic if I'm still working on the fairy tale piece. But what I decided to do was explain to you, I decided to turn it into a teaching moment.
You're making lemonade, Flynn.
I'm making lemonade. So let me see. We are, so what I had done originally is I wanted to have...
is live chat not working?
It's fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
we were... Oh, I just dropped one of my flames in the inside.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so what I wanted to do was I had this crazy fairy tale that was called The Little Girl Who Trod on a Loaf. I know that's like the weirdest thing ever. And it was basically about a little girl who is like a horrible monster, and she's poor, and her parents send her to live with a rich family so that she can have a good life. And so her rich family, the rich family that she gets to stay with is like, your parents are really good people. Why don't you go ahead and take them this loaf of bread because they're probably really hungry and poor. And she's like, I don't wanna. And they were like, come on, just go do it. So she takes the basket with the bread, is going through the forest, and comes across a mud puddle and decides that she doesn't want to soil her pretty fancy rich girl shoes, and she takes the bread that was meant for her family and throws it onto the mud puddle, and then tries to use it to cross over the mud puddle. But what happens is the second she steps on the bread, she freezes and the bread sinks down into the mud hole, and she goes down to
the underworld.
Well, sure, if you want to be nice, the underworld, and she has to be a statue in Hell's Kitchen, basically.
Yeah, she doesn't have fun down there.
And there's more to it than that. It's pretty bad, though. But anyway, that's what I wanted to do.
Bad stuff happens.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to include some motion on it. See? So what I've done here is you can see that there's a little crank on the side, and I've got my flames and kind of electrical things, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to have kind of like a dancing flames. So what I did was I rigged this up with cams so that I could have some interesting motion with my flames.
And it's really pretty randomized. I mean, you can see, will you crank it a little bit more, please? Mm-hmm. You can see the ones in the front are going at a much slower rate than the ones in the back.
Right, and there's a reason for that, right? So there you go. All right, so that effect that we just did is achieved with what are called cams.
Do we have a loose cam? Do I need to get a loose cam out?
Sure, if you can, that'd be great. So that is, and I don't understand why it's giving me all of those ridiculous. There we go. Maybe that's better. Okay, so you can see from above how I've got Technic plates here. Right, and here are my different flame things.
There you go. There's a cam. Cool.
So this is a cam. All right, and what a cam allows you to do is you can see that it's got multiple axle holes in it, right? So
and
that means
a skinny end and a fat end.
And a skinny end and a fat end. So what that means is that you can take an axle and put it through any of those holes and spin that cam around, and it's going to do that.
And depending on what axle hole you put it in, you can make more or less of an eccentric movement.
Right, so you can imagine that if my, or let's show it to you this way. Here's my surface, as I turn this around, it's going to get bigger, and then it's going to drop down, bigger and drop down, bigger and drop down.
And just without going too much into detail, you're actually going 90 degrees with this gear here, right?
Right, but I'll let you talk about that in a little bit.
Cool.
So I don't want to confuse things too much.
Yeah, sorry. You were using a mechanism that we hadn't talked about.
So here's the thing for the cams, and I'm going to show you. I took this off, and it took me. Now this is the thing, everybody. Like, I could have probably gone onto the internet and found an instruction for this and done it really quickly, but that's not how I am. So I decided that I had a general enough idea of what it needed to be to figure it out. And it still took me, I mean, I got up, I started at like 6:30 a.m. and I finally finished it just like right before we were getting ready to go on camera.
So probably 3 hours to do what you're seeing here, right?
At least, yeah. But that was, again, because I was like figuring out measurements. Like, now I would be able to do it, now I would be able to do it better and faster. But
well, we learned some tricks along the way.
Certainly did. So you can see I'm turning the crank here, and you can see my cams moving. Right, there's this row and this row. Now, one of the things that Richard mentioned was that you can see that our cams are moving at different rates.
Let me stop you just for a second and say, Steve Parmley, you're welcome to take this idea. All of you, take this idea, make it your own, modify it.
So, instead of just having the one row of flames, I wanted to have 2 rows of flames. And Richard was like, well, why don't you make them go at different speeds? So I'm going to show you what we did to make it go at different speeds. Right here, I've got this little pulley wheel, and it has a groove in it that accepts a rubber band. And if you can see here, right in there, that's a half bushing. And the great thing about half bushings is they have a groove in them as well that will accept a rubber band. So
here, I'll show you.
What I've done is, by spinning this around, you can see that I'm cranking this one, and no matter how fast I go, this one is still going to go slower because I've gone from a small to a large.
So
right?
These, if you
and that's called gearing down.
If you hadn't seen them before, these are half bushings. They're a restraint that you can put on an axle to stop something from moving where you don't want it to go or fill it up. But it's got this little
groove in it.
Yep, right there. Yeah. And that fits a special, not just any rubber band, but a Lego rubber band, which has a round profile.
Right. All right. So let's go ahead and take let's go ahead and take this apart. Now this was one of the other things that I learned about making this, and it's funny because you don't think of these things immediately when you first start building, and then you're like, I have to go back and do so and so. And I'll tell you that one of the things that I did that I had to make adjustments on was this, because you can see that when this crank comes down, it's really about 3 bricks off of the bottom, right? And I started it off too low, and then the crank hit the floor. And then the other problem was if I did it too much lower than that, then the cams would hit the ground. So there was sort of like a,
There's a minimum height to the piece.
Noobmaster 69, just so you know, we are giving out the challenges now on Fridays, and the challenge is to make a mosaic this week, a mosaic project, and we'll talk about that more later. So, you can see, I'm going to start taking these bits apart, and you can kind of see that.
Hey, have you shown this up close turning to the camera yet before you take it apart?
Okay. So here's cranking. Can everybody see how that works?
So you can see the height will go up and down.
And I wanted to show you how we alternated it, right? Like we've done there. On the second row where the cams are aligned, you could have used a regular Technic small beam instead of a cam.
Well, you could, except that it has a steeper side, so it's more likely to make a sudden and sharp movement or get
like
stuck.
a drop, where this one is more like a. But yes, you definitely could do that. But we like the shape of the cams, and for our purposes, we're talking about cams today. But yeah, we should definitely check that out.
Yeah,
this seems to have come apart.
I usually just try and stay away from steep sides because I find that overcoming that. That 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock position can take a lot of force.
The old 6 o'clock drop. I just made that up. I don't know. All right,
but I think it's a good suggestion.
So you can see that. So this side has got Technic beams TrickyBricks, which I then covered up with 1x so that you wouldn't be able to see all of the ugly here. Now this one, I did use a 1x4, but again, I was moving really quickly. And I just wanted to make sure. Yes, and it also gave me room to move a little bit. So like if I went back, I might go ahead and try and adjust that a little bit. I also discovered that that in order to be able to get it to keep the cams from hitting the floor, I also had to raise this up by like a plate here. Right.
Oh, Wilfred, actually, I see what you're saying. If you use a 2-long beam, the one that has the axle hole in one end, and then one, is it a pinhole or an axle hole in the other end? That would work,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, it would.
It wouldn't. I don't think there'd be a lot of friction there, and it would make a centimeter of movement.
Yeah, but again, you wouldn't have that egg shape, which I really like.
Yeah,
it'd be.
So
but
if you're
yes,
trying
it would
to
work.
randomize movement, you could have some things sharper and some things more gradual.
So I'm going to go ahead and take these beams out. Now this one, you'll see on this side, I have used a double row of beams because I wanted something to support the axle that this handle is attached to.
And that's an important thing, to support your axle as much as possible. You don't want to do like all the way across because you're adding friction, but by supporting it from this end and this end, everything stays in alignment and it keeps friction out of your system. Or it helps to reduce friction, let me put it that way.
Right.
Yeah, because we actually got in trouble. These are so well fitted here that the bushings were pushed up against the side and it was too much friction. It wouldn't drive the pulley.
All right, so here you can see here's our rubber band, and we used a white rubber band because it's, I believe, one of the smallest ones, if not the smallest one.
And I think, although now I'm going to have to check this out, I think the different colors of rubber band aren't just different diameters, but also different stretchiness.
Yes. So, all right, so check this out. Here is my first row of cams, and what happened was I wasn't able to fit the handle, the crank on with a number 12 axle. So what I had to do was I had to put two smaller axles together using this little axle connector, and it kind of made it a big pain in the butt.
First big compromise, right? Because that meant that there was
a big gap in the center.
Flames.
So I had to, and another thing I had to do was I had to keep putting it in here and then putting this part on top and making sure that I was going to be able to hit the little nail things. And you'll also see that we decided to do double cams, because what I found was happening was I would put the plate over it and the cam was only really filling up about half of the hole, and I wanted it to be able to like have a solid foundation underneath. So Richard suggested doing double cams, which was a little bit more work but ended up working out in the end. And you can see that I alternated with dark gray and black ones so you could kind of see that these are two cams together. And you'll also see that I've spaced everything out using bushings and half bushings.
Yep, and so the key there, since the holes for these pistons were going to be in this Technic plate with holes, is these cams needed to line up exactly with these holes.
Right. So
and we also had the problem that we were using two thicknesses of plate, so there were some holes that didn't work.
Right. So, yeah, that was really tough. All right, so you can also see here that the way I've placed my cams is even though I've got 4 sets of cams here, each one is facing in a different direction. So that's going to give us a little variety in when those go up and down. Another way that you could do it too is to have one up, one down, one up, one down, which it's just not quite as interesting, but it totally works. You can absolutely do that. Then for the other one, I wanted to get a slightly different motion to this one. So I just wanted to show you what we did with the cams here. So instead of having the cams matching, we actually put the cams like this so that there was a little dip.
Two
so
bumps.
Yeah, so cam. Up, dip, up, like a little short and a long dip, right? And you could adjust that even more if you wanted to.
So you can actually start to, paint with motion there. You can want one part to be up when you want one part to be down, and it's all I mean, it all takes time, but it makes me think of music boxes that play notes according to the pins that are coming out. You can actually play the animation this way, especially if you had really long axles and, you know, more complicated things going around.
So that's how we lined up the cams, and I want to show you how. And I want to show you these separately because I want to show you I want to show you how the two different types of cam adjustments work. So I'm going to just do this to make it easy. Oops.
One way.
Apparently not that easy.
Is it smooth or is it tight?
It's a little bit tight, but I can adjust these a little bit, right?
Just a little reminder again with bushings. Put like a fingernail or thumbnail distance between the bushing and the end there to give it flexibility so it doesn't have friction.
So somebody was asking about the cam part number, and I don't immediately see it printed on, but you can look up Lego. Oh wait, it is on here, but unfortunately it's not bright enough for me to see.
I'm gonna do the phone trick.
All right, so I'm gonna show you real quick how I did how this works. So we've got, and I'm going to fudge this a little bit just because I want you to be able to see it, you know, quickly. So oh, I should probably show this part too.
I can't make that out.
Oh yeah, it's Cam 675.
Thanks, because this photo didn't show anything. Oh, I see the word leg. Oh, there it is.
So I wanted to show you how we did the little pistons. We've used these Technics. Now we've talked about these before. These Technic axles that have like a little nail head on the end of it. Those are the part that's going to rest on the cam. And then I've added these like funny little lightning bolt pieces that have an axle hole in them onto the top. All right. So that way I've got my up and down movement like this, and it's also not going to fall through when I turn it upside down, which leads me to show you this. When you get ready to set this part up, make sure that you put your pistons in where they're supposed to go, then attach your piston topper, then put it on. Because if you don't, it's going to fall out. All of your pistons will fall out. Yeah, I'm just showing a sample right now.
Can I hold this for you?
Yeah. And now I'm gonna, so you can see that I did another piston, and this time, instead of doing a single flame, I used it's that piece that Amy was showing earlier, a 2x2 round plate that has an axle hole in it, perched on the top of that little nail. And then I've used red and yellow flowers to give all the flames a different height. So I've actually got, let's see, how many is that? 12 flames going here at different heights, right?
And an added plus to this, it's not sort of designed
not a deliberate
into
plus.
the system, but a plus is, since these can rotate freely, as they go up and down, they rotate a little bit, giving you some more randomness to your animation.
Exactly. So some minifig chick was asking what are those giant flames with the axle connector? They're actually like electricity, and I don't know what the part number is, but I can tell you that they came out of the elves, the pink ones anyway, came out of the elves' chariot. Like they're the ones, they were sticking out of the back of there. So I just kind of like grabbed those for this. So you can look up what part that is. All right, so having made sure that all of my small flames pistons are directly over, and again, this is the cam that has the tulip or the dip in it, like that. And I want to show you what kind of motion that makes. Oh, actually, I think, whoops.
Do you want me to, can I add some more bricks in here? It'll make it.
I wanted to show that, but unfortunately, it's not long enough.
Well, that's pretty. Oh, you mean to do?
Yeah, I can't put the crank on it because it's not long enough.
Got it.
But that's okay. So what I'm gonna do is
because this wasn't designed for that. This one was designed to be driven by the other axle.
Yeah, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna put this. We'll put this back together, but just like a little bit differently, so that you can see. I want you to be able to see the difference between the two types of flames. So, let's see what can we do to make this work.
Here, we can just put it back together.
Put it back together? That's preposterous.
You're preposterous.
Oh, here we go, everyone.
Right? A preposterous rhinoceros. It's a preposterous.
Yes. All right, so you can see I've got my one set of cams here.
Oh, we got to put the rubber band on.
Yep. Oh, this is another thing I'll show you. If you're going to put the rubber band on, do it here. Like, don't try to put it on this thing because it's really hard to get out of. Just let it hang on these bushings when you put it in. And then I'm going to add my other set of cams, the ones that we have going, you know, the every other ones. And I'm going to put those here.
Can I stretch that rubber band over there?
Mm-hmm. Now, you can see this is going to make it tricky, right? Because that rubber band wants to pull that in.
So you got to make sure you stay... Counting isn't a bad thing.
Counting? Preposterous.
I'm not trying to grab it from you. I'm just trying to...
Oh, keep it in the camera?
We want to show everyone. Oh, thanks, Marilyn. Yes, thumbs upping the stream helps everyone.
It does. All right, so I'm going to go ahead...
Cam. Oh, yeah.
I think maybe...
At what point those giant flames with the axle connector?
Yeah,
I thought about that, and the only thing we would have had to do for this is make it a little bit taller, because since the axle's coming up through the Technic plate with hole, we'd have to put an axle joiner on, and then you could put the flame on top of that. So it just means a little more landscaping around it, right?
Sorry. There we go. Nope, that's not right either. There.
There. And then you can just pretend you have tiny, fancy little fingers that can fit in there. Neither of us do.
Okay, so this is probably the trickiest part.
It's hard.
It is hard. So
you're gonna do it really well.
I'm gonna put it over here, and I can kind of get it on the top here, but I'm gonna have to it's really tricky. I have to put my finger under here, loop it around.
Here, you want to use another axle or a stick?
Got it.
Look at that.
All right, so now we have our rubber band wheel hooked up. And also, you can see that I can adjust this, right? Like because this is not on a gear, because it's on a rubber band, it could be easy, right?
The other advantage of using a pulleys aren't as positive a connection as, say, a chain or a gear meshing. But the nice thing is you don't have to be in exact a position. You can, within the diameter of the rubber band, you can be on this hole, you can be on that hole. It's a lot more flexible. Although when we started, we didn't have enough tension on it, right? We had to move the flames further apart.
Right. All right, so almost done putting this back together. And then, of course, what I discovered was it had to have a double row of bricks and a plate.
Why is that?
In order for the plate to be high enough for this cam to function correctly.
Oh, right. It would be, you have to have the radius of the cam above and below the axle.
Yeah, what he said.
Right, the radius.
I just started putting it together until it came together. I don't know.
Well, we didn't do math to do it, but I mean, that's somewhat what's going on.
I don't like math. I mean,
Really?
I know math is a thing and that it's a good thing, but I was terrible at math. It was kind of embarrassing. All right, so here we go. And then I'm going to use this little crank piece. You probably see these a lot. Little crank, axle, and then it's got a little pin.
Frictionless pin there.
So you can add whatever you want, but this is typically one of these axle connectors that doesn't actually have an axle hole in it.
Yep. And of course this could be motorized as well. Just put a motor on the axle rather than the crank. I'm kind of into these hand crank.
All right, here we go. Dun, dun, dun.
Right,
all right.
One's really fast. The one with the small bushing right?
It's going to be the faster one.
It's the fastest one, and then you gear down to the bigger one.
All right, so now I'm going to show you what the different movements do. Okay, so first of all, this is going to be, this is the cams, these ones, where we have one cam to the bottom, one to the left side, one to the top, and one to the right side. I'm going to put these up here, and I'll turn it this way so you can see. Oh, it doesn't work that way because gravity.
Gravity is your friend. That works. We could go on the front camera.
Oh, we could. So this is the movement of those cams. Right? Eccentric movement. Now see, if it were, my preference would be that they would stay like this. But they're not gonna.
Well, I have this idea. You'd have to use, again, it would make the piece taller, but you could put on the axle, you could put little little arms coming out of the axles under here and keep them all lined up, you know, in their own channels. But it makes at least one stud higher of a piece.
Oh, guess what?
What's that? Is this one in backwards?
It is.
That's always fun because now
I got to take it all apart again. Well, so you know what happened was, when I took the wheel off, I wasn't paying attention to what side I took it off from, and now I have to.
Oh, I see. The wheel goes over here.
Actually, the wheel goes over there, but this whole thing is turned right.
Around.
And of course, because nothing is ever easy, we have to take the entire thing apart.
I've found. I mean, I know there are clever people who can imagine the mechanic completely in their head like Mozart. I need to fiddle around with it, and unfortunately that means a lot of unbuilding and rebuilding. And as Flynn knows, I hate unbuilding and rebuilding, but you just have to, right? You have to get okay with it.
Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just have to. All right, so let's see if we can make this work again. See if we can make it work this time. 43?
No, probably more like 26. I pick random numbers.
Well, see, this is the thing that I always try to impress upon people is when people say, like, oh, well, you guys had tons of time on Lego Masters. You could have done so much more with your time. And then I feel like, well, that's easy to say, but when something like this comes up and you're trying to do something mechanically difficult or that requires a lot of measuring or what have you, it can be difficult. It can be really difficult.
Do you want me to support one end of that, or it would be just too many hands in there?
Let me see what
you gotta
going on here.
Put those in second, yeah. But come on.
So that everyone can see my failure.
Yeah, and then I'll lift this up. Sharing is caring, Flynn. Look at that.
This is really frustrating.
There
we go.
Well, because you're fighting against the rubber band, right? The whole time. Oh.
I know. I don't have patience right now. All right, so we're going to try putting this back in.
Hold this in. Once it's in, let me know, and I'll hold this one in.
Okay. It needs to come over one more.
Okay, I got this one.
And then we're going to do the other one over here. And I need to put this in here.
See, just like in sports, sometimes in Lego you need a spotter.
It's true.
Just like in sports, Flynn.
Oh, yes, sports. All right, so now we're going to do the little trick with the wheel again. Oh, my goodness. What a...
Here, I'll get
such a much.
That's almost work for tweezers.
It is almost work for tweezers because now my big sausage fingers can't get to see.
Well, it's...
Oh, you know, everybody, yes, we do struggle. Like, we're not... Just because we were on a TV show, like, called Lego Masters doesn't mean that we're, like, the be-all, end-all of, like, Lego knowledge. We are builders just like you. And it just... And I hope that just shows you that you know... If being on Lego Masters is something that you want to do, it is entirely possible. You could even be, you know, completely inept, like I am.
Well,
at this, and it would be fine.
Well, I think more to the point is we're always trying to stretch our knowledge, right? So if we're working on the edge of our knowledge base, then we're going to make mistakes.
It's true.
And that's the only way. That's how we learned everything we know so far. So
absolutely.
I'm not worried about that. You got to be okay with making mistakes. even on
on the World Wide Web with 30 people watching you.
The whole world.
Okay, so we saw the eccentric we saw that last motion.
Is that on this
one? You
one?
gotta be kidding me.
Are you serious?
That's okay. I'm gonna do it this way because I don't want to fuss with it again.
No one will know.
No one will know that it's slightly off. All right, so you'll see that. So this is the one where we did the more like tulip look, where we had the two cams sort of facing like this, right?
There's a more serious issue here.
What now?
There's a more serious issue here. This cam won't touch this one anymore. What happened?
Of course it won't.
It's
because I'm using the wrong one.
Thank you. Oh, see, physics did not break down.
No, I did it right. Actually, yeah, I was just using the wrong piston. Okay, so now check out.
Sorry to shout on your Monday morning.
So here we go. So now I want you to check out the motion of this one. So you can see it's got two little bumps in a row, and then the other one goes up. So it creates a completely different, right? Like that. And then if I put this back on, now you can see them all sort of moving in tandem.
That poor little girl should not have trod on the loaf.
I know. Absolutely should not have done that.
All of this, such a fuss, just because she wouldn't deliver the bread.
I know, and now here I am. Hey, my mom is here. There's you go. There's another other bingo. A family member enters the chat. Yeah, I do too. So, Moto, I really like the way it allows these front ones. Right? So, I just wanted to say,
yes.
I just want to say, so there's like apparently a Legos debate going on right now. I'm just going to say this. It's, yes, Lego, the company says that for the purposes of things having to do with them and when it's out in the press and stuff, that it's supposed to be Lego, that Lego is the plural of Legos. But you know what? I'm not gonna jump into that debate because my goodness, does it really matter?
We have friends who say Legos because they do. We have friends who say Legos because they're not supposed to say Legos.
Right, purposely.
And we have friends who say Lego. And I think, you know what? Engage with your toy, art supply, game, puzzle, however you want.
Right. Well, there's always a lot of debate. Like people will ask us, do you think, oh, now I forgot what I was saying.
I got distracted again.
We were talking about how important nomenclature is. No, we were talking about the S on the end of Legos.
Oh yeah, I don't know now. Anyway,
right.
It doesn't matter, does it really? But
I'm definitely going to try something with cams. Yes.
Yeah, we hope you do try something with cams. I'm going to go ahead and go back over to the camera here so you can see the final piece.
To the what?
To the cam. See what I did there?
It's the camera. It is. We'll have to make a graphic for that.
Camera, as
Johnny
Jenna Maroney would say.
Minifig Chick is a rebel.
It's true. Here we go. There's our flames, and I'm going to take these off one more time so you can get a look. And I know we didn't talk about this before, but you can see that I have completely covered my axle with bushings, but there is still that like fingernails worth of room, right?
We got about a millimeter or two in there.
But it's important, especially when you're making longer gear trains, that you do this kind of support. Because, axles are great, but they're also, they're flexible. They're just plastic. Well, so the more ways you do that, the better. Like, you can do that, the better.
If I could even add to that, just...
Please do.
One more thing is not only does it
let me put my hand here so you have something to look at.
Not only does it make the axle more rigid, it also stops your bushings from slipping out of place. Because if you make a complicated mechanism and it's deep inside your mock and you can't get to it, how do you know if your bushing moved 2 millimeters, right? So just you can't afford to, if you're like me. Although we're learning to build access points in now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you just don't want those things slipping. What's going on?
Somebody says we look like we live in Pasadena. We do not, in fact, live in Pasadena. We, in fact, live in Oakland.
What is Pasadena? I know
what's a Pasadena
I know
look.
there was a little old lady from Pasadena.
We've been there. That's where Bricks LA is.
Yeah, well, we've been to
yeah, so we've
I have
been
Bricks
there.
LA t-shirts, lanyards.
Why not?
So I wanted to, do we have a minute here to
Yeah, we do have
to talk
a
about?
final minute for you to talk about that.
Okay, well, I'll take 10 seconds.
Oh, all right.
No, I'm also doing a piece, and I started off with a fable, and I found the moral to the fable to be not as optimistic as I wanted, so I got caught on it, but I had the animals that I wanted to work with. Basically, it's the fox and the lion and the mouse. And a lion lays down to sleep because it's a hot day in his cave, and a mouse runs across... Oh, sorry, here, I'm just playing with... is this right? Yes. So a lion... And we have this mountain lion, lays down to sleep, and a mouse runs across his mane, and he jumps up and freaks out and starts looking all around the whole cave, freaking out and furious, and a fox who sees all of this laughs at him and says, "Oh, what a fierce lion you are that you're afraid of a mouse." And the lion says, this is an Aesop's fable, the lion says, "It's not the size of the mouse that upsets me, but his familiarity." Right? I mean, okay, there can be more.
Wait, so it's like it's basically like a courtesy lesson?
Well, it's like stay out of my personal space, kind of. Which, I could find a more uplifting fable, but I had these animals, and I'm dedicated to using these animals because I have this cool little... Can we go to the down camera? Oh, you just went to the front camera, didn't you? Sorry about that. So I have this cute little mouse that I want to use. Maybe I'll change the story a little. Sorry, Aesop. And this lion, and this is the fox I have. Is this a Ninjago
It's a
fox?
three-tailed, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the fox I'm going to use. So I also want to do a mechanism with a crank, because I think that'll be fun. And I want to get 3 motions out of it. I want the lion to start laying down, right? He's going to be down here in a slot under the ground, right? And then I want the mouse to run by. So he'll be moving this way on a rack gear, right? And when he makes it here, I want to time it so that the lion goes, and raises up out of his way, right? And then ideally I would have a 3rd motion, which is the fox turning like this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull off the 3rd motion. Basically, I'm going to have a gear train running through here with a small gear, and then a big one is going to raise this guy up and down slowly, and then somehow I'm going to translate that motion to the rack gear here that's going to move the mouse. And as long as I have an axle here, I should be able to get another motion for the fox. But we'll see what I put together. That's the puzzle I've set for myself, and I'm going to work on that today.
Awesome. All right, so I hope you learned a little bit about cams today, then something that you might be able to go get some cams and check it out. Again, I'll show you one more time. Here is our cam mechanism, right? With different facing cams. With our wheel to give it a slightly slower thing, geared down, right?
Yep, so that the axle on top there goes slower than the axle on the bottom with the smaller one.
Crank. Awesome. Well,
Cool.
thanks everybody for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our chat
That's like
with
an hour and a half.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed our chat with Amy. I hope now, I haven't done a lot of tutorials, so I hope that made sense in some way, even in like weird, convoluted way made sense. So glad that you all enjoyed it. So we're off tomorrow. Mm-hmm. We are going to be here on Wednesday. The plan is that we will start the Creator 3-in-1 Corner Deli.
Yep.
But if the haunted house is actually going to arrive that day, I'm wondering if we should do a smaller set that's only going to take one day.
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
Thursday we can start at the haunted house.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a little one because I want to get to that haunted house right away.
Me too.
Right?
Hey, Doc Sampson, how's it going? And you know what? This will be our first time, and I gotta say, I am super excited about this. This is the first time that that we'll have built something on the stream that's a new set.
That's brand new.
That a lot of people don't have yet. So we're really excited about that.
And if
very cool.
Have it, you're welcome to build along with us, and you can point out all the mistakes we make, and maybe your stickers will be... No, they won't be straighter because Flynn's stickers are really straight now. Right?
I know, after I got shamed by Holly yesterday for using the Windex method. Well, you know, whatever. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't
was fun.
If you didn't see yesterday's episode, you should definitely go back and check it out. There was a lot of really great talk. Moto showed off of his wolf head, which, if you haven't seen it yet,
it's cool.
It is one of the most incredible Lego sculptures I've ever seen.
Very
like,
sculptural.
it is phenomenal. So definitely go and check that out. And there's lots of great talk and host shaming.
Wilfred,
about
yes,
stickers.
we can do
Sticker shaming.
Wilfred says we could do the Batgirl plane.
Oh, maybe we could.
That'll be fun.
Actually, that might not be a bad idea. So we'll see. I'm going to check the FedEx and see when they think it's actually coming.
We can keep it casual.
Every time anyone says shamed, I think they're saying my name. You must have really liked that one episode of Game of Thrones.
Or that one of...
Shame.
Or that
shame.
One, there's that episode of Batman 66 that refers to an old Western movie, and there's a character called Shame. And they keep saying,
oh, that's
Shame,
right.
Come back, Shame.
Wait, I think that was the Avengers, actually, wasn't it?
No, there was a little... Oh, really?
It was one of those. They are kind of similar. Oh, so real quick before we go, Blackjack is asking, what's the Windex method?
Okay.
Real quick.
Where's our brick separator?
You're gonna take a tile. I use a Q-tip and I just sort of like wipe some Windex onto it. Then I put my sticker on the very end, like the edge of my brick separator.
Oh, there's one.
Like just on with it sticking off
corner,
and then the Windex keeps the sticky part from sticking too much, and you can really kind of like wiggle it around and get it in place, and then you separate it off of the brick separator, smooth it out with your finger, and then you've got about 2 to 3 seconds where you still have some play with it, and you can kind of adjust it around with your thumbs. And I know a lot of people can just put them on right away. I cannot.
I did.
And this method works for me every time.
I did the Windex trick with some older vinyl stickers, and I found that I wasn't able to slide them around, but I was easily able to pick it up and replace it, and pick it up and replace it. For, again, like it on that one, at least 5 seconds, make sure you push out all the air bubbles. And
right? For sure. But you definitely have it provides you a lot of play. Now, I will say that it was easier on a flat tile, because I was doing this hidden side set, and there was a sticker on one of those curved panels, and I got it on there, but then I couldn't get it to stay down.
Oh,
of course
because
it wasn't sticking.
Like spring force, right?
So I had to like hold one end down and then kind of like smooth it over with my finger and kind of hold it. But it worked, and it was funky placement on those as well. I mean, you'll see later, but holy cow. All right, so anyway, glad you joined us all today. We hope that you all have a lovely Memorial Day. If you want to get in touch with us, first of all, please subscribe to our channel if you're not subscribed already, and also hit that bell button if you want to be reminded when we're going to be doing shows. Also know that we are on Facebook Live now. We're simulcasting on Facebook Live. So if for some reason you can't get over to the stream on YouTube, you can watch it on Facebook Live.
Yeah, and all of you people on Facebook, if you ever are on YouTube, you can find us there.
Yeah. So, excuse me. You can also find us on Instagram at TrickyBricks, where you can check out. We usually show our... Oh, Blackjack, you're welcome. We usually show our different mocks and stuff like that on there when we make them. There's been a lot lately. So you can check us out there. If you want to send us an email, and actually, I should say, let's go over real quick our contest rules. So the challenge this week is to make a mosaic. The largest size is 32 by 32, and when I say mosaic, it means that you're going to make a picture on your base plate that when you turn it this direction, as if you were going to hang it on the wall, you can see a picture of whatever that is for you.
It could be flat, it could be 3D.
It can be modern art, it could be a pattern, it could be whatever you want. But the point is just to make something that's outward facing that you can look at and makes a picture when you're done. You can email all of your entries to Flynn@TrickyBricks.com. Don't forget, 1 photo each. You can have a 2 to 3 word explanation. And this one is going to be really important. Now, some of other ones have been important, but this one is going to be especially important for you to make sure that the light is coming from behind you when you take the photo. Because it's going to be a big flat piece, if you light it from behind, you're never going to be able to see anything that's on the front of it. So please make sure that you get that light behind you.
And we've seen lots of people who have been taking really great photos, too.
Oh, yeah, I gotta say, the improvement in the photos in the last round was amazing.
Yeah.
So don't forget that you've got until Thursday at the end of the stream. So Thursday at noon to turn in your entries.
And it's a challenge, not a contest, right?
Challenge.
Everyone wins because we all get to share art together.
Yes. I love that. It makes me very happy. All right, yes, and Dare, that's true. Cornado says indirect light is good because there will be a glare issue. So, but you know what? We're all just having fun here. So don't feel like it has to be the most perfect photo ever. We just like to give you tips to make the photo better so that everybody can see. We like to do that.
Well, Cornado's absolutely right. You can, if you are holding your camera right here and you put your light right here, it's gonna do the flash right back at the camera. If you have any way to get a light or a window or anything off to the side a little, it'll throw all those reflections the other way and out of your camera.
Says the lighting designer.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think he made a really good point about glare because Lego is shiny.
It's true. So if you want to send us anything through snail mail, postcard, fan art, what have you, it's Flynn and Richard, P.O. Box 11517, Oakland, California, 94611. That's where we will be. Hey, Red Warrior 6, welcome back. We're actually about to get going.
I know. I'm so
BJ
glad
Pace, welcome here at the end. We will be back on Wednesday at 10 a.m. And I'm going to make another closing screen because it always says see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it always says see you tomorrow.
But
we're not here Tuesdays and Saturdays.
Exactly. So everybody, please enjoy your Memorial Day as much as you can. Remember to stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands. And I know this is controversial, but if you're going out and you're going to be in a big crowd of people, wear a mask. Yeah. And we say this out of love for all of our members and wanting them to be able to come back and hang out with us.
Yeah, so if you're the mouse, don't run across the lion's mane. Run over here.
Right on. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. We hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we will see you on Tuesday, and then this week, Haunted House.
No, we're not going to see on Tuesday.
Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
We'll see you on Wednesday. Well, I don't know if it'll be for the Haunted House, but we're definitely doing it this week. We'll let you know. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.